Check.
More than an end, you can feel it like the beginning of a new episode that takes the franchise to a new direction we never imagined before. The Phantom Pain is extremely ambitious in almost every aspect, but ambition doesn't always mean perfection, and that's why we tell you what makes this game so incredible. The story begins 9 years after the events at Ground Zeroes. Big Boss and the team of Diamond Dogs seeks revenge against the men who betrayed them, regain the power that has been stolen by calling all unfaithful friends, having battles with the characteristic mutant enemies that only Metal Gear has given to us. Although the story is much more deeper, it's best to not mention the plot as much as possible, because what really matters is how it's told and what can cause.
Get in!
Something you can feel different in this occasion is that there are not so much long dialogues and constant cinematics. The story lies more in what the characters do than what they say. Even in the most crucial moments, the narrative is very different from most of the Metal Gear games. Even though it feels concisious, leaving many loose ends and connection between characters that will take some time to be related. The story of the Phantom Pain we show you is extremely large, and therefore, the game invites you to explore and find dozens of audio cassettes that are hidden in different areas and will fill all those holes in order to understand everything that Kojima-san wanted to tell us. Of course, it will not be an easy task to complete.
Sounds like Phantom Pain. Your brain still remembers your old hand.
It is a peculiar and bizarre story that you can't stop thinking about it. The game puts you to reflect and investigate everything around you several times and realize that the fifth delivery brings the narrative to another level with many secrets to discover. However, you will not always find something in all your searches. The Phantom Pain is very concerned about the world it presents to you and challenged to appreciate in every detail. Probably it will not be what fans have expected, and we believe that's the best. There is so much to say about politics and issues of ideology, things that are worth to be listened, and there are very few games open to criticize. Unfortunately, the game doesn't always motivate these feelings. There are moments of great impact and then hours of mission that seem out of context or generic. In addition, the dialogues at times feel unnatural. The Metal Gear universe is difficult to explain by itself, and if we add scenes too short, it leaves us little time to enjoy. The game uses the same control as Ground Zeroes, so if you play it, you will know all the freedoms that gives you and how fluid it is in comparison to all the past deliveries. You need to invest some time, even you don't want, to the mother base, home of all your operations and allies. Here you can develop an extremely huge number of items and weapons that will blow you away, and to do so there will be volunteers and others, more guests, that you will kidnap using the Fulton, an air balloon with high technology capable of transporting people, animals, and even tanks. Choose where your allies will make something is up to you, but in many occasions you have to risk your life and the mission. Is it worth the chance of dying for an ally? The answer is not always obvious. Extractions add a new challenge to stealth beyond just going from point A to point B without being seen, and even when these mechanics have already been seen in Peace Walker, in Phantom Pain is much graded by the open world.
Extraction failed.
Afghanistan and Africa are the two areas where you can explore and where you will encounter military fields, prisons, and villages that have been taken by the enemy. The use of all this space and the feeling of being there were perfectly created. The missions have many hidden paths, alternative vehicles, and what makes more entertaining the game is the fact there are different ways to achieve your goal and unlock secondary objectives by accident. The missions are created with so much dedication: retrieve prisoners, murder objectives, destroy all enemy equipment, and much more. In addition, these new objectives may change in the middle of a mission, forcing you to rethink your whole strategy. The allies we have also change the direction of our strategy because they provide support in many different ways. The horse will give us mobility, the animals are able to detect enemies, other animals and plants, the sexy sniper Quiet can slip out and attack from the distance, and the walker will give us an extra attack power. Each one has its own way of attacking. In that way, to choose one is a difficult task and certainly makes greater the gameplay. But you have to remember that having one is not to having the others. The abilities of our allies are limited to the time we spend with them and the bond we make during the missions. How is expect, you have options and commands to them. Quiet, at the beginning, can only kill enemies with her sniper, but eventually you can give her a silent sniper that throws tranquilizers, making her even more valuable. If you were discovered, the consequences are fatal. The guards will not give up their search so easily. They will find your last position, launch flares into the sky to make it more visible, and call air support by radio and ask for reinforcement from other checkpoints, among other tactics to get you sweat. The enemy also adapts to your tactics after some time. Are you very confident of shooting guards with your tranquilizer gun with a single bullet in the head? They will begin to wear helmets to protect themselves better and walk in pairs. There are many things to consider that even the most experienced players will be discovered, and they will don't know why. The Phantom Pain requires constant improvisation because a split-second decision can mean the success or failure of a mission. It creates so intense moments that even after many hours of playing, we had to rest before returning and play it. It sounds exaggerated, but there were times when the game makes our pulse rise so up in a difficult situation. There is no better example of this than the battles with the final bosses. Even when they are not as personal as in previous game, they still combine moments when all your skill are tested. What is more surprising are all the ways you can recover from them. Some fights can even completely be avoided, so be careful and smart in all your own decisions.
Fire.
Forward Operating Base, an interesting game mode in which other players can invade your base, take your resources and personnel, so it's up to you to defend it. If you are the one who invites and come victorious, the rewards are plentiful. Fights one-on-one when you have so much at stake, it's just great. The way that this mode is played goes with how much you have secured your base. You can extract the enemy torrents to use against the invaders, but it also puts you in danger at missions if they were stolen. Every decision has an effect that impacts many other aspects of the game, something we have never experienced before in the series. Even when this is a game mode apart, it gives life temporarily to the base when the story leaves us not so much to explore, because most of the time will look spacious and lifeless. Of course, you can hear conversation between soldiers, but they still don't offer so much and they are repeated regularly. Interaction with the main characters only occur at specific times, so the base is more like a tool than a place you can really care about. Even with Africa and Afghanistan, which are actually giant and with a lot of things, you may want more areas and more variety in them. The scenario seems repetitive after a while, the story mode will take you about 40 hours to finish, and in that point you have already overplayed the maps. Fauna is very limited, and it will be tedious to find towns and villages uninhabited. All through the story justify the reason why, so you will only interact with military or similar. Fox engine is capable and surprising. The environment look amazing, the modeling of the main characters feel very real, and fluency of the game is worthy of admiration. There are so many tricks as how the time passes and mismanagement of shadows that can get you out of the illusion of being in front of a flawless game. Climate changes are interesting, but we have to say again how great is the fluency in the game. The character animations are always pretty good, as long as you don't look so much to the lip sync, because for fuzzy people can be a bad point to consider. And even in the comfort when changing perspectives, environments and the graphic engine give us the feeling of watching a television series. Making some visual tricks, the game can be said it looks identical among all versions. You cannot notice gaps between them. We truly believe this is a great achievement for the entire development team, to be able to transfer all this Hollywood-style cinematic experience into a video game in such a subtle way. At times, you will interact with cinematics that in the past were worldly enough of a popcorn and where now you can take control of these situations without recurring to the annoying QuickTime events. Masterful, flawless, surprising, sublime. Is not that clear? Well, I'll explain to you. The game has one of the amazing sound designs we have ever heard. The environments are beautifully recreated, achieve this animation that makes you feel inside the mission. The performance of the main characters are awesome. We know that some will miss David Hayter, however, the work done by Kiefer Sutherland is worthy to represent one of the most iconic heroes of video games. The music of the game in every single delivery is unique and emotionally accurate. That tune, that sound effect is at the perfect time. but you have to be very careful because if you are able to hear it, your enemies can hear it too. Be careful not to break a jar or you will have lost the mission. Well, yeah, it happened to us, but it could also happen to you.
Let the legend come back to life.
Don't misunderstanding, the Phantom Pain is excellent, makes better and bigger Metal Gear without endangering the quality that have characterized the franchise. Not to mention that the Hollywood touch and the brilliant technical section, the delicacy of the story is what has really captured our hearts. Even today, we still remember the most important moments in our minds, and there are just few games that achieve this effect. Decades later, it's amazing Metal Gear still captivate us, inspiring and surprising. Phantom Pain is certainly a great chapter to a strong legacy. We invite you to see our written review. The link is in the description for all the details you want to know about the Phantom Pain. We hope you enjoy it. Give us a like, comment, subscribe, join our community on social networks, and of course, keep playing!